Oh, too late.
I was great trying to smooth something for myself.
Oh, goodness. Good evening, and happy Friday to you for our Friday Sip and Chat. We are here as scheduled and breathing on schedule. You see who's on the panel, so we breathing on schedule. We're gonna have to harass the folks as they pop in after the 8 o'clock time, especially since they usually the police of time, right, Doc?
Right, Daryl?
Yes, usually the police of time, and not even on right now. So I am rocking some clear H2s and O, but if we get spicy, I might have to black out my screen and be like, okay, what's going on? What's going on? But I'm not sure how we gonna go, depending on how we jump into stuff. Doc, how you doing?
I'm good, guys. I am also rocking the H2O tonight, but I got little bubbles in mine. I'm drinking some Perrier.
Okay, Bubbles. Shout out for the
Bubbles going on. Everything is good. Everything is good.
How's the okay, so how do you identify? Noni?
Yeah.
Oh, here come the latecomer. What time is it, Daryl?
Showtime.
We can see him and we can't even hear you.
Oh my goodness.
All right, we hear you now. We hear you now with all your big mics. Is it showtime? You sure? But now we can't hear you no more. That's okay. You can get it together while April says how she's doing this week since she was on time.
Right. Thank you. Thank you.
I know that's right.
Always on time.
Hey, Ronnie.
Hey, Ronnie. How you doing?
Yeah.
See?
That's what happens when you come on late.
Exactly. You kick yourself out.
Right.
How you doing, Miss Payne?
I am fine. I'm chilling. I am drinking out of the clear glass tonight, guys. Clear.
Okay. Not the green cup?
No green cup. Yeah,
okay.
The green cup is going on vacation after tonight. So I'm just going to close out this session with some tea and a little bit of just a tiny bit of vodka in it. That's it.
Okay. All right. So why are you retiring from drinking? Like I don't understand. Or sipping. I'm not understanding.
COVID put on some COVID pounds. So I got
a COVID circle too around the waist.
Yeah.
I should have been out there walking with Doc today.
And spring is here, so
yes,
spring is definitely here and rocking.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, now he turned himself all around.
2 very beautiful days this week.
You had some beautiful days this week?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, you mean weather-wise?
Weather-wise,
yeah. Okay. All right. I've been zooming on some type of, I don't know who created the schedule I had this week, but it was crazy. Daryl, all your equipment, you good?
I don't know. Am I good?
We can hear you
now.
Okay. Long as you can hear me.
How was your week?
It was crazy. It was busy. It had me trying to work this week. So, I don't go to work they don't pay me to work, but they try to make me work. Terrible.
They don't pay you to work, but they made you work?
Yeah, man. Don't pay me for that. I had to look at my, review my contract to see if I was supposed to work, because this ain't what it's supposed to be.
Oh, goodness. We've all had a few months off of regular routine. So, like, anybody trying to make a routine look like it did before, it's like, wait, hold, pause.
Right.
I need to have a meeting with those people. So, Ronnie got that down home punch rocking it out with us tonight.
Okay, Ronnie, what's in your punch?
Yes, what is in that down home punch? We might have to go find something in the kitchen so we can match up with you. So, Daryl, what you hydrating with? Because we know it's PG-13.
I don't have anything. I was rushing. I got nothing. Ain't got nothing.
So he late and he not following protocol.
I'm gonna take big sips of air tonight.
Like this is called a sip and chat.
A sip and chat.
A sip and chat.
And Ronnie is covering you because she got big Jack.
There you go. See, drinking for two of us.
No,
what you got in your cup, April? We're gonna have a good night, April, or not? What do you have?
No, I had the clear cup. See, if you were here on time, you would have heard what I had in my cup. A little bit of iced tea and a tiny bit of vodka.
Boring.
You calling somebody's beverage boring?
Exactly.
We gotta get her to turn up.
I turned up. I was in the green room.
People that come specifically for the turn up, so you never know.
Oh Lord.
You talk about her green cup all week long, so you gotta go re-up your stock. I don't
green cups. Green cups forever.
No.
Start tagging green cups.
I'm retiring the green cup for a while.
Well, it could be in a clear glass just as long as it comes.
Yeah.
All right, I'll bring the green cup next week.
Yeah.
We bullied you into it.
Well, I said I'll bring the green cup.
Oh, that means it's gonna be empty. Hey, Miss Shirley, thank you for joining and rocking it out with us. So, Daryl, since you was late, what's the community event? It's a whole bunch of stuff that went on.
Oh, it's a whole bunch. A whole bunch of them. The biggest one I think everyone was talking about, I think, is the Jackson. Is it Derek Jackson?
Yeah, that's the name he go by.
You know his name.
I don't know much about him. I've never watched him before. Yeah, I've never watched him, and hearing the stuff he's saying, I see why. It seemed like he was a simp.
What does that mean again?
So he was. Huh?
Derek wasn't a simp.
It sounded like he was. It sounded like he was like, women and buy them stuff and take them out, and they're great.
Oh,
Sounded like he was simping. And
what's that?
And then
simping with sex? Like I'm not getting it.
It's just like somebody who's
a womanizer, a liar.
No, but how he gets them, like he's real, like he wants to give him money and tell him nice things all the time. Just be nice to him and stuff like that.
Be nice to him.
He's emotionally intelligent. Or he
is he? See, that was y'all champion. So from my understanding, he was a woman's champ. That's your champion. That's who y'all picked to believe.
So let me be
not
clear,
you as in not you as in you. I'm talking about the uniform you. I think he had a big following. Again, I can't speak too much to him. I've never really listened to him, but from my understanding, he had a big following. Women loved him. They always. I seen things where they were saying like women were like, "Oh, be more like Derek Jackson. Oh, he's the type of man you should be." Like they referred to him as that prototype of what a man should be. And then I guess it came out that, so now this is my question too, and I don't know enough about what he says to say it's right or wrong, but because he had a few indiscretions, does that make what he said, does that invalidate what he was saying? That's my question. Now I don't know what he said. I'm just asking in general because
I can't.
But because someone doesn't live the way they're speaking, does that make what they're saying invalid?
I agree. Now, and I've followed him on a couple occasions where he's given advice, whether the question comes from an inbox or he's given relationship advice. And I want to say that some of the from the episodes that I've watched, I think they've been solid, good advice. And he's always answering and responding from a male's point of view. I took his advice equivalent to like what a big brother or maybe what a father might suggest to their daughter.
So not as a relationship expert.
I wouldn't say I didn't take him as a relationship expert, but again, just from a male's point of view, and he was
what male?
Well,
is that the current event for real?
Right.
Yeah,
right.
I'm just wondering.
But to answer your question, Daryl, I don't think that what he said or his actions, because he does not follow the advice that he gives or hasn't followed the advice that he gives, doesn't invalidate the advice that he did give. It doesn't make him an expert, a relationship expert, but if you want to, it's like, Bill Cosby, what he represented or what he did for the community. It doesn't take away the work that he put into the community because he was a womanizer or people viewed him as a womanizer. People have to sectionalize, a person's work from their character sometimes. And sometimes it's hard for people to do that. But I don't think that it takes away. I mean, it does take away because it makes him a hypocrite because he doesn't.
But who's not?
Exactly. I agree. Ding, ding.
That's my thing. Who's not a hypocrite? If we start saying things like that, then I might as well get down in the sand and say, who without sin throw the first stone.
Right.
Because we to a point, most people are hypocrites at certain points. They may speak one way and they may not move that way. And, do as I say, not as I do type of mentality. Again, and I can't speak on Derek because I've never listened to him at all. I'm hearing about him now through the controversy that's going on. Even, I did think it was kind of weird what they did the interview with his wife where he was holding her hand like he was. That kind of was weird to me. But
it's controlling.
But was that
see, I can't say it's controlling.
I
can't say that.
He set up himself, right?
I think they set it up themselves.
Yes.
But I've just seen pictures of it,
So,
but
and I don't know.
He set up himself. It wasn't like he was on a television show.
No, it was his set that he uses, his living room. Most of the time he's in his car.
Right.
But recently he's done a couple that was in the house.
Yeah,
but
now from my understanding, he didn't claim his wife before or something like that.
Yeah, he appeared single. Not that he wasn't a father because the car seat was in the back seat, but that he was single.
I didn't get that. I mean, again, I don't follow him consistently, but I have seen videos and pictures of him and his wife. So I don't know if he intentionally hid that from the public, but he was married. I mean, it's available. And I think if you are a true follower, you would, those people would know that he's married or not, but it doesn't even matter, that she was, in the background or not. That might have been her choice. That may have been his choice. The fact is,
hey, Ellie.
But I don't know how it was set up, and I think that maybe she chose not to be involved. Right? That might have been part of it. The whole setup of it.
For the 9 years, and I'm not really a follower, but there's people who usually bring his conversations up to the front, up to the forefront for me to even have a comment on and so forth like that. So it's like, because of that, it ends up showing up either in my news feed or in conversations with other clinicians or other women who do follow him. And I always had I guess an aversion, because what platform is he really representing? And what I mean by that, like, what school of thought is he really providing this expert level of how you manage relationships from?
And his following was mostly I don't know, but this says mostly women followed him. I mean, because he's a very handsome guy, very attractive guy.
And that makes it easy for people to do that. Yeah,
absolutely. So and he's saying all those things.
Every word.
Yes, and he was saying things that were like, hey, I seen the one he said, hey, bro, if you can't treat her right, get out her way so a real man can get in there and do it. So he's saying things that women can also grab onto. So I can see, women definitely, jumping on and following. It seemed like he was making a lot of money doing what he was doing, selling these books and things of that nature. And
he got a new book that need to be sold.
Yes, and it seemed, I think he said it was talking about what he went through with his wife. So I was wondering, is this kind of set up as well? Like this?
It was out, and so when he realized that the person who did a YouTube snippet to out him that he had been cheating with her on his wife, he was trying to get ahead of what the fallout would be from this girlfriend that he had on the side, who did this YouTube video that became viral immediately.
Okay.
And he had already been working on the book because allegedly his wife was aware of the situation and had left him, and he tried to come back for her a couple times. And so in that process, they're speaking as if this happened right before we went into the pandemic.
Okay.
So this book is
Did
about.
She really leave what she's saying at the same face?
I think she's saying that while he gripping her hand and squeezing her hand while she talking. That's why her eyes look like that.
So that's what, see, the first thing I said when I saw her, I'm like, did she know she was about to do a video? Because she had a thing still on her head, a big T-shirt. I'm thinking, millions of people watch this. It looked like you just got drugged out of bed, and I didn't hear anything. This probably even heard anything that was said. I'm like, why? He looked like he was ready for it, and she just looked like she was pulled downstairs. Like, this is what we're doing now, and that was kind of confusing. I will say, I know people are dragging her, like, why did you leave? And if she said she left and her relationship and she came back and through God they're working out, okay. I mean, you can't just walk away from everything just because other people say you should walk away. If they found a way to get through it, then more power to them. I mean, I'm not mad at that. But we're only looking from the outside. We don't know what's really going on in that house.
Right.
And it all seems fishy.
You said it all seems fishy?
Yeah, to me, I think it was manufactured to sell this book. Remember, there's no bad, any attention is good intention, right? Good advertisement. He's getting advertisements. People are going to his platform. Every view is a click. That's another way to get revenue streams. He's doing it right now, and people can buy this book. He came out.
Right.
The one thing I know he did that was really crazy was when he did a reaction video to his video in the third person. I don't know if you guys saw that.
I did.
That to me was, he's insane. Like, see, Derek Jackson, he cheated on his wife. You're Derek Jackson.
That's how I was introduced, because it was on somebody else's news feed, and I see this man saying Derek Jackson, so and so and so. So I'm saying to myself, who is Derek Jackson? Who is he talking about?
He's friends with Kevin Samuels a little bit.
I'm like, who is he talking about? Because I didn't know, so I had to look at some other feeds to see that he's the one talking about himself. That's
scary. That's scary to me.
They call that narcissism in the DSM, whatever chapter of that book we're on.
Yeah. Now I kept seeing people saying he was narcissistic. Now, how did it fit? I couldn't. No one really explained how it fit to a narcissism.
The control factor. He's taking responsibility, but on the hindsight, but he's not taking 100% responsibility. He's not blaming her and throwing her under the bus, but he's also not acknowledging what he's told other people to do. He's not doing it. And
okay.
He's manipulating this entire story to read a certain way, which probably helps the sales for his book. Because I have no doubt that his book will probably still do well, because there are going to be some people who now just want to see what's in the book to see about his story. But he also dragged the pastor in it, apparently. Oh, because she apparently had some situations, and he alluded to the fact that it was a same-sex relationship situations that she had engaged in before.
What's going on with the pastor?
The pastor, so they went to counseling before,
right,
for her dealing with a woman.
Oh,
right.
Yeah, he said him finding God made him cheat.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to keep my credentials, so I'm.
But again, I agree with you, Mary. I stay away from all those kinds of pseudo, I became an expert because I said so, people.
Exactly. And then people bring up, Steve Harvey Steve Harvey didn't write that book. A therapist wrote that book and knew that it would sell with his name on it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Steve Harvey's terrible. Don't take
I
any
was
of his
going to
advice.
say he
It's
reminds
still
me of
terrible.
this.
So the therapist that wrote it is terrible, but it's sold
Yeah.
because his name was on it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So
I mean, it's
people
smart
buy people's
marketing.
names just like they buy that dude that was on Pennsylvania Avenue for 4 years. They bought his name at one point because it had a high value. So it's the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's why he always paused in Steve Harvey, I'm speaking of, when people ask him relationship situations, because he got to think about, okay, what the book say? Let me think. All right, let me say this response.
Or they got a radio in his ear to
Or they
answer.
got somebody in the back typing it up real
Mm-hmm.
quick so he can read from the
Mm-hmm.
card.
Yep. Yep.
Mm-mm-mm.
But what
So
makes a person
I still
an
think.
expert?
Well, that's a question.
Because here's what I'm thinking.
The blockhead believers go to buy
The blockhead.
the blockhead believers gonna buy the book.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And that's
And the churchgoers are gonna buy the book too.
and I want to say those are who make him an expert. I don't know if he was claiming to be an expert himself. I think his listeners, his followers are claiming him to be an expert, just like Steve Harvey's followers were making him an expert.
Right.
But just because just going back to what Daryl was saying earlier about the advice that he gives, does it negate the actions that he performed, does it negate the advice that he gives? And I say no, because I mean, we learn from people making mistakes. The problem with him is he didn't own up to his mistakes and he continued to do those mistakes. But when you make mistake after mistake after mistake and you learn from them, or you learn from different aspects of them, and you're teaching someone, in a sense, you're not an expert, but you're a good person to check in with, to verify, am I doing the right thing?
But a mistake is one time.
Yeah.
Is that true? Is that true?
A mistake is not 10. I don't care what you say. It's not 10 times.
Relapse is 7 times, right? So sometimes it takes you times to learn to do the right thing, right? So I can't.
Somebody with a chemical addiction whose brain is, working off of a drug. We're not talking about that.
Well, anything we do, our actions sometimes just don't just because you do something wrong, I mean, you just get it the next time. That's not true. I mean, sometimes you have to work through things to get it right. It's tough. Right. These are learned behaviors. We don't know.
You not being in denial. That takes you having a level of acceptance.
Absolutely.
You're not going to tell me that you made a mistake and then here you are with the same behaviors, doing the same thing over and over and over again without even trying to correct it. That's not a mistake. So,
but
that's what I mean when I say it's not a mistake after the first time. Because after the first time, you know that there's a problem with what you're doing.
Mm-hmm. But I'm still saying, if you don't know, if you don't know how to rectify the mistake, that's why people come to see you guys, right? Because I'm making these mistakes.
It's a conscious decision. It's a conscious decision.
But everything we do is a conscious decision, right?
But okay, so like even somebody said that if he was, I'm just using this in context of what you are saying, and that why you put this whole thesis up here. In context of what we're saying, people said, well, if you believed in God when you was in front of the woman who you cheating with, God would have kept your zipper up. That's not reality.
That's not reality.
Because the pastor is knocking somebody down before he comes to the pulpit. So what he doing? Mm-hmm. And his wife sitting in the first lady chair.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that means you don't really have a full understanding of something if you think that, right? That's what I would think. That's what I would tell that person. Because if you think that just because you're in Christ that's going to stop you from doing something, then that's not how it works. That's just a misinterpretation of what the word is or whatever the case may be. So no, I would easily say that doesn't make sense. It makes sense to them, but then they don't know any better, and that's why you have to educate them. No, this is what it means.
Okay, let's see what Nat wrote. Like,
Oh my
because
God.
apparently people are reacting to what Nat is saying, but it's gonna cover some people's faces. Oh, okay, maybe
Ooh.
not.
Okay, the
Right.
most recent.
You can read it out loud, Daryl. Help us out.
I can barely see it, and my reading is fundamental. Okay.
The most recent mistress came out, and she's a doctor. She had video of him in her house, listed on gate pass to get in. They had sex 318. The first
that's
time
Mark.
intercourse, they had it 5 times because he wanted it. He would wait in the parking lot to have sex with her on break, and numerous videos of himself jacking off. She thinks he's a sex addict and very aggressive. This mistress was just served with gag order by him to not talk anymore. What else did she say?
She ain't gotta say nothing else. She done said a whole handful right there.
So I thought I heard that they had sex in their home, in the home of Derek Jackson and their wife's bed.
Else, him and one of his other
Got you. Okay.
partners.
Yeah,
yes.
But so it looks like he does have something he has to work through because he's doing the most.
But it's also he has, like you said in your commentary a moment ago, that he was easy on the eyes. So that persuades people if they're not looking at the content of the total person, they can look at him. Yeah, I'm sure you know it well. And then y'all wear the little muscle shirts. I mean, work closets and stuff like that. I'm just saying.
This is tough. This is tough.
Yeah, so he was strong enough to bring the side joint to the house. And if the house is the house that he's been on showcasing his game that he just recently released, that's a nice size house to be having somebody up in there.
And that's what I'm saying. I wonder what's really going on, because where was the wife at when this was going on?
Adrenaline don't care about that.
Well, that could be
don't care about what?
Part of his narcissistic personality, right?
Yes, very much. Yes, it could be.
Or it could be a situation they have set up. I mean, if you got cameras and you bringing people, I mean, I'm just saying. I mean, if you're bringing people to your house and you have all this time to do all this, what is going on?
No, the cameras was at the doctor's house, and he had the passcode to get into the doctor's house. See, Daryl, you getting all the stories mixed in. You just layering them all.
Listen,
this is too much anyway.
I don't know. It's so much going on with the women's champion that I can't keep up. This was the women's champion. I don't know many men that were co-signing what he said. I don't.
Well, no, because he was
giving up
saying things to get.
Right.
He was manipulating women. He was manipulating women for money, and they fell for it. It seems like.
Sex.
Right.
I said money and apparently sex.
Yeah.
Say it again for the people in the back, Doc.
Manipulating women for money and sex.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right. Which then goes to like another community event all the way on the other side, which both of these situations show up in our conversation of tonight with microaggressions. Sex is a driver. I mean, I've been saying that forever. Y'all may not have heard it. Let me say it in the back. Sex is a driver for a lot of stuff. Mm-hmm. The man who decided he was having a bad day, and he go to his sex fetish joints and just shoot up people just in general because your wee-wee didn't work today. Like I don't know why they had to be held accountable that way.
That's ridiculous. I mean, when I first heard the story, they had said something like he blamed them for feeding his sex addiction.
Right.
Like he didn't just willingly walk in there.
He didn't willingly go to the first place and then drive 2 hours to the second place. Like, all the little spots to help your fetish and your thing that you got going on.
Yes, you guys give me a little bit more background. I don't really know much about this story.
Mm-hmm.
Is that because you was working this week?
Well, I must have been, because I don't know. The dude shot sex joint up. I missed that one.
Yes.
And killed some people of Asian descent. So then it's like all Brown Lives Matter type situation.
Okay, I think I heard about it. Isn't he Middle Eastern and stuff? Is that the one?
Is he Middle Eastern? I think he is a colonizer.
Yeah, I thought he was Caucasian.
It's one saying they went to his brother's house and they found out that they tried to say he had some mental illness, or no?
Well, because he doesn't look like us, he has mental illness, and he probably took him to Burger King to get the meal number 2, and he's able to live. He was able to drive 2 hours after the first shooting to go to a second location without a police escort.
Wow.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And totally, he has killed 6 Asian women.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
Because his sex thing wasn't working for the day.
So he wanted to shoot up the club a different way.
Mm-hmm.
Because he couldn't shoot it up the other way.
Too soon. Yo, that is crazy.
It is crazy. But like, these are, intentionally, unintentionally different forms of how people feel control and power over a lot of situations. And they end up developing or manifesting this way of life.
Oh, so this is the one that the police officer said he was just having a bad
day?
Yes. Okay, I saw that. I didn't know he shot up a place of pleasure. We'll say it that way.
He shot up a couple of places of pleasure.
Really?
Because his nuts wasn't working.
Yeah.
Got you. I don't think he was.
I wasn't responding to that.
I don't think he was. And I'm not sure if he was Caucasian or not. I thought he was.
He was. Yeah,
yes.
That's his. Yes.
Right. Okay. So it was so many shootings going on. It was like people going crazy right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Right. And so like Ellie is a licensed massage therapist, and so I'm sure that this like really touched home because she's a beautiful woman. And she owns her own business and has owned it for, I think it's like close to 10 years. Mm-hmm. But one of the things that she has to screen the people who come to her practice is to make sure that they're not coming for an exotic happy ending. Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm. She's like a full professional with all these certifications.
How do you screen that?
Well, we would have to invite her onto the panel.
I would like to know what they ask. Like, it's a massage, right?
I think that there's certain keywords, just like a SEO. Okay, she putting all her deets in there. Now I need you to put them deets in when we write in profiles, but we ain't gonna talk about you right now. Mm-hmm. So she has certain questions, and she knows when certain keywords come up and how people respond. Then she schedules like a phone consult before allowing their appointment to be valid, so that her safety is not compromised, as well as that whole situation.
Mm-hmm.
It's so crazy you have to do all of that to give someone a massage. You got to go through all that. This world is really bugged out.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And like I said, she's a beautiful woman, and she's like, I'm not a sex worker. I'm a licensed massage therapist. Like, I done went to school for this. I've been doing this. She got specialties and all other kind of stuff. So like, yeah, it's a thing. Wow. That people really, really try to persuade you, and they think that money can be thrown your way, and that you'll say, oh, sure, I'll do that. Right. And they don't care if you say you married or anything like that.
How much they talking? Asking for a friend. Asking for a friend.
You asking for a friend. You always asking for a friend.
Help.
She said they could do that, do what they do, but leave her out of it.
I get it.
Not at her address. So tonight's discussion flow is, I'm scrolling. Oh man, did I write that much stuff?
Oh gosh. She said even when they pass the text, they will come in and ask for a prostate massage.
A what?
A prostate
massage? That don't sound comfortable at all.
Because they don't want it to be comfortable.
They're in the wrong place for real.
They in the wrong place. And Net talking about laughing for a friend. She's like, oh God. So, what's the gooch, Ellie? What's that a code word for? She said the gooch. It would sound like a code word.
Remember the gooch? Oh, I'm not rubbing the gooch.
Right. It's funny because when you say that, I think about this body scrub that I just recently experienced, and she was asked, like the woman asked all of these, I thought, strange questions. But hindsight, I was like, she probably has to ask all of those questions to say what parts of your body do you want to actually be scrubbed. And I'm like, yeah, no, we don't have to go there. Like, I got my massage therapist. I'm good.
Wow.
Right. So the conversation for this evening is talking about how microaggressions show up in our relationships, personal, social, and the workplace. And Daryl, did you do any homework on this? Since you wasn't in the pre-green room, I'm just asking.
I kind of looked at things and saw some things, educate myself on it more. I kind of wasn't really. I wasn't really up to speed on really what microaggressions were. Right?
Got you.
I had to kind of look it up.
Since he's
what
guilty.
It was.
Yeah, he sound guilty, right?
Listen, I don't know something. I'm going to look it up to find out so I can be in the conversation.
Trust me, I know that.
And it's what I think the thing what I've learned is micro. The word micro is weird because it's really, the aggression is really big to the person that is receiving them. It's not a small thing. It's not a small thing to the person.
Right.
It may be something that was inadvertently or even on purpose, but it's small. But to me, how I took it, like, whoa.
Right.
Whoa. So that was very interesting.
Absolutely.
You got it.
You got it. You did some good homework. So
I always prepared.
Okay, no comment.
Right.
I must need more than water for that response right there.
Right. I think we all do.
Right. We gotta take the bubbles from Doc's water though. So I have two things in regards to kind of like defining it to set the platform for what it could mean. In regards to like it being small, like off the cuff type comments that reflect assumptions that you may have based on some element of their identity. So like, some people might say the black men who wear locks always gonna rob you or something.
Oh, I thought it said black men that wear locks are sexy.
No, that's
not a
microaggression. They gotta say it with a backhanded type comment. Oh, you know what? Here go a microaggression right here. Daryl and that big ass mic.
But that's real. I have a big mic, so that. All right, main topic. He got a big ego. Got a big ego.
Okay, so the other example that I had was something that seems, like innocuous or like, nonchalant, often appearing to be a compliment or something that's genuine and expressed in questions like, let me touch your hair, or where'd you get that outfit? I'm surprised you was able to afford that. How do you afford that car? Like those could be some of those,
or you speak really well.
You speak really well.
Or so I live in a nice, I guess a nice neighborhood. A lot of others here. And one of the guys came over one day and asked me, "What do I do to live here? How do you have that? How do you have a truck, a Mercedes Benz, and a motorcycle?"
Oh.
I told him I sell drugs.
Because that's what they was looking for.
Hasn't spoken to me since. That was like 8 years ago. I was so offended. I was like, yo, what do you mean? I'm thinking I work like you. What do you mean, what do I do to live here?
Isn't there a song like that? I forget who sings it. It's a rap song where he's talking about living in this nice neighborhood and how the neighbors think he must be selling drugs.
I don't know, but I know that's how they look at me out here.
Right. So that, and then one of the pictures or images that I saw was of a Black woman who was the registered nurse. And when she enters into the room, they say, "Can you please get the doctor for me?"
Of course.
Mhm.
Yes.
Or
I've
you
been
see,
in a
That
number
happens to
of
Diane a lot.
situations, being that I've been in a environment where it was mostly white men at the top.
Mhm.
And they walk in the room and I'm at the table and they say, "Can you take notes?
Mm.
Or can
So yes,
you get us
So
something to
say
drink?" Hell no.
right.
say yes and just don't do it. I got you.
And it's interesting that you use that example, because the other side to that example is the melanated person in the office is usually the one that they say, "Well, can you plan the meeting, or can you go get the decorations and set up the meeting?" Like, why can't you do that same thing? You could go to the dollar store, or you can go to Macy's, wherever it is you're choosing to get the decorations from, and you could do that. Why is it that I have to be assigned that?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so
Because
it's
that
usually
is your job. That's your role based on what you look like.
mm-hmm,
So
mm-hmm.
so microaggressions kind of are fueled by sometimes your bias.
Yes. Yes.
It's always
It's
fueled by your
always
bias.
fueled by a bias.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And because of your moral compass or things that's important to you, you don't open yourself up to the possibility that what somebody else could offer to the team has value, because you see a characteristic about that individual and you make all of these judgments, if you will. So like if it's somebody who has like a hair scarf on that is like styled, they have a position or a slot that they put them in. If it's somebody who practices Islam and they come in with their garb on, they have a positioning or a thing, like they don't have permission to speak.
Mm-hmm.
If you are representing Asian, then they say, "Oh, you must be an engineer."
Mm.
Whereas if you're
Something like
Hispanic,
that.
you're the housekeeper
Mm.
or landscaper.
Yes. And some of it is I guess you would say unconscious, but a lot of it is conscious prejudices that people
Mm-hmm.
have, or beliefs, like Mary said, that a person has about a particular identity of another person.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What did you say, Smart Daryl, with all of your equipment over there?
I don't know. I'm saying so much stuff I forget.
You sure you're not what that neighbor said? You're not selling something over there?
I sell drugs.
Too much equipment.
Right.
Got too much
That's what's in that
equipment.
equipment over there. It got something going on.
It's overwhelming him.
I'm moving weight. Call me the plug.
You the plug?
Yeah, I'm the plug.
The plug. Okay.
And so, like, this could come up in sexism. Sexism will be that whole example that we shared with the, you could decorate or you could plan out the whole meeting
Right.
that we having. But then sexism also could come in a place of where you are at work and in a management position, but because you are excelling so much, they see you as a sex worker, and because they're attracted to you, then they have to lower you to whatever it is that they feel comfortable with you being, as opposed to you really coming in and knocking that presentation out the box or being the lead on something.
Or they go above you when they quote unquote, when they need something, they'll go above you and ignore your position.
Because you could be very well the one they're supposed to answer to, but they can't take that that positioning. They're like, "Oh no, you can't." Like some people have said, "Okay, that little girl can't tell me what to do." What you mean, that little girl? And then like it's a simple, the age, it's not simple, but the ageism. So if people are in fear of their jobs at a certain point, they may not leave their job, but be very unhappy at the job because they're like, "Well, at my age, where can I work?" And people end up fueling that whole possibility of where can they possibly work and what's like a reality, but then also making accommodations to say that they're not capable of doing something because of their job on either side of the age spectrum. It don't have to always be an older person. It could be a younger person too.
Mm-hmm. I like what Daryl said about it being big to the person that it
Now,
happened.
how many is that? The first agreement?
Yeah, that's my first. That's my first.
All right, I just gotta check.
Because a lot of times when these things happen, they're very stressful to the person that is happening to.
Mm-hmm.
They feel harassed, they feel demeaned, but the person that's doing them, they'll usually deny it and say, I was only making a compliment. I was just, I was just wanting to feel her hair because it looks, I had never seen anything like that. So they would definitely deny that they're consciously trying to make someone feel bad,
right,
or feel lower than them. But to the person it's happening to, it's very hurtful.
Right. Right.
It is, and I think it makes them become very defensive. Like I said, even for me, if things happen, I have a comeback for them. Usually, like I said, I'm a drug dealer, or when they ask, like, "What are you guys up to? You guys up to no good?" Mm-hmm. Yeah, we want to rob you. And then they really look crazy when you say that. I'm like, but did you hear what you just said? Mm-hmm. Right. So, but I notice it puts me in a position where I want to respond to it. I'm ready for it. I'm almost ready for it. Like at this point in my life, I want it to happen because I have something to say. I want to make you feel, which is bad in a way.
And the thing too about that being prepared to say something now is that we were kind of taught culturally to be silent, when someone is speaking to us, and to kind of accept what it is that they're dishing out, because it was deemed as being disrespectful. But now that we are evolving, is the word I'll say.
And I just want to cut in for a second, and then you can finish. But not only disrespectful, but it could put your life at risk.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Jump right in.
I just wanted to jump on, just wanted to add to what Mary said.
Just go ahead. You got the right to cut everybody off whenever you want.
That's only because I might forget.
Oh, that's the excuse. That's what we're going with. We're going with that.
Before she
got a lot of stuff going on. She done took 4 miles to walk, and she tired.
Took care of the baby. I got a lot going on.
Hey, and we all wait your turn.
You know what?
Hey, you wait your turn off.
Right. Go ahead.
You wait your turn.
You make sure you be here on time.
Get him, April.
Hey, whatever time I show up is the time we start.
Oh,
okay. Self-controlling the microaggressions.
So, I know some people in the comment section would like to comment on that.
Exactly, and please do. Please do. Don't let him get out of pocket tonight just because.
No, Mary, you know what to do.
I do know what to do. I do know what to do.
You lucky I don't have.
Don't be giving me that look. You trying to bully me through the screen.
Don't give April the button.
I mean, I could have gave April the button, and then she could have did it herself.
Mute.
Don't do it. Don't give it to her.
Please don't give her the button.
Oh goodness. That's because you like to pick on April.
I'll be like this all night.
Right. Yep. What did you say?
Like, what? What'd you say? We didn't get it. Another thing, like when we talk about the fact that people not paying attention to, just kind of respecting you, or you might feel threatened, or the silencing that we have been taught, that the reason they call it micro is because in the moment you kind of caught off guard that somebody said or made a comment in the way that they did. Mm-hmm. And when you leave that space, leave work for the day, is when you begin to kind of reassess, like, okay, did they really just say that? And how am I supposed to feel? And usually because of the threats of you're thinking of the larger picture. Am I going to lose my job if I speak up? Mm-hmm. Or what's going to be the perception of me if I was to say something different? Mm-hmm. Then, that's a lot to wait on the line, but that really shouldn't be weighed on the line. But that's the world that we live in, because the biases who are in leadership, if they're not willing to shift their mind, then their bias is kind of ruin the department you're in.
Mm-hmm.
I want to share a story that happened to me a long time ago when I first I'm within the say the first 5 years, because my daughter was in daycare at the time. And the first neighborhood I lived in was it was mixed, but there was a lot more the Caucasian people in that particular neighbor development that I lived in. And there was the one development was called, like, I lived in Avondale West, and there was another section which was in our development, it was single homes. And then in another development which was called Avondale was the townhomes, and that was primarily made up of Black people lived there. And my daughter got when she was being dismissed from daycare to school, they dropped her off at the Avondale development, assuming, because the daycare that she went to was primarily white. I think at that particular time, there was only 2 Black kids, my daughter and a friend of ours, son. So this assumption was made that she lived in the Black neighborhood versus the other neighborhood. And I was really pissed off because it's like, how do you drop my daughter off at a development? I mean, you just assumed because she's Black that we lived in that other neighborhood. Meanwhile, my child was like, 3 or 4. And I think there was I think her principal went to pick her up, or I forget the scenario, but the principal of her school went and picked her up. But I was really angry, one, because they made that error, but afterwards, I'm like, you just assumed that just because I'm Black that I lived in this other neighborhood. And I really wanted to, I mean, I did say something, but I really wanted to, explode on them. Because here you put my child at risk. Her son was in risk, was in jeopardy, and she got in the car at the time with this man that she didn't know. And even though he went outside, he went way, out and above to bring her to safety. At the time, I didn't know who he was.
Right.
So that alarmed me even more. But again, I was just more disturbed that they made that assumption. They put my daughter at risk. But at the same time, I felt like I had to respond a certain way because I did not want to come off as that angry Black woman. Because in their eyes, they made an honest mistake.
In their eyes.
I'd have did probably 5 years behind that. I'm just letting you know, because my daughter being out there by herself, I don't care what mistake, I would have lost it.
Right.
I would have lost it.
Right.
I would have lost
it. And again, it was either the pick. It had to been the drop off. I forget the specific details, but I know it was they delivered her to the wrong neighborhood. But that's an example of a microaggression because you just assume that my daughter lived where most of the Blacks lived in our town. And
Is that a microaggression?
It is. Because it goes into
a
bias. It's a bias and an assumption that it's not possible for someone who is of melanated nature to be in that other zip code.
Right.
Okay.
Because
she's only 3 or 4 years old, they can't really confirm with her. So they didn't even look at the clipboard. They didn't look at any of the information that they had. They just made the assumption that this is the Black people stop.
Right. Right. And
that's how easily and callously that these situations truly occur, though.
Gotcha. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Dang.
I mean, just like the bias or the stereotype that someone who is wearing their Islamic garb is a terrorist. Because only terrorists come and shoot up buildings and climb walls and stuff like that. Only when they're garbed, though.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, only when they're garbed. And like as you were sharing that, April, I think about how I think I did create a banner for it. People have they make up a name for you that works for them.
Right.
As opposed to your God-given name or your parent-given name. Like they want to make up a nickname that's an alternative way to identify you if you have a unique way of being identified.
Mm-hmm.
And if they can't pronounce it, not taking the patience to learn it is a microaggression. Because you're not worth my time to actually figure out, okay, how do I break this down into syllables and respect you by greeting you by name.
Right.
I was watching something and they were like, if you can say Tchaikovsky or any of those names, then you say my name, right? If you can say some of these names that these great the singers, whatever the case may be, if you can say their names, you can say my name. You can learn their name.
And it's funny because like a couple weeks ago, somebody Daryl referred to you, like we say Daryl, and they said Darrell, and I was like, he didn't correct them. So is it okay that they call him Darrell, or are we wrong in calling you Daryl? I mean, just a thought process in having.
It's okay either way. It's Darrell, so Darrell or Daryl. It depends how you pronounce it or enunciate it. If you say like Daryl, I'm going to correct you. But if you say Daryl or Darrell, I'm not really, because it's spelled either way, so I'm not going to trip.
Okay.
I thought it was Darrell at first.
You thought right. I said all that to say it's Darrell.
Hey, so Darrell. Officially it's Darrell,
or it could be Daryl.
Make up your mind. What do you want us to call him?
You know what? No, because he got multiple personalities. It depends on which personality we addressing.
I mean, listen, we all have mental health issues. I mean.
Oh, so you accepted and agreeing with that, huh?
Listen, I know I have problems. That's the first step in recovery, admitting you have an issue.
Yay.
I am wishing we was on Zoom right now so I could give him the cheer sign. So, like that could be something that's excuse me, also passive in regards to creating like a new name. I think the first time that I heard Doc's nickname or people who have known her like from ever, I was like, okay, where'd they get that from? But she was flowing with it like, yeah, hey, da 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 da. And I was like, okay, well, I don't know her as that name, so I can't just all of a sudden wake up and start calling her that because that's not the generation of which I've been introduced to her in. But it was just interesting because, it was different,
When I first heard them call her Coco-licious, I was like, I don't.
What?
Okay? I was like, that's a weird nickname, but I guess we'll go with it.
Wait, I've never heard that one.
That sounds like a stage name,
right? Coco-licious with your shoes.
I was like, oh, Coco-licious here. Oh, okay.
Is that what they say behind my back in Cherry Hill again?
Wow.
Coco-licious here. I'm like, oh, she here?
You just walking around doing what you do professionally, and they got a whole other persona for you. And I know my
it sounds like it's a poll in my office or something.
Well, they might think it is, depending on your shoe game for the day.
Well, yeah.
And it also makes me think about friends of mine who are on social media who knew me before 2000. And so they always try to refer to me where they're like, okay, can I say the other name? I don't know, she's this Mary May lady now. I'm the same lady, but yeah, I went with the real government name as opposed to the nickname, especially the people from Lincoln. Like they got all kinds of.
Well, I know you as Lady May.
That because you created that, so yes. yes. But like, other ways of like we kind of have like chatted about this already, but like the ethnic group shaming, refusing to comply with change. Like if you've been in a place for so long and you're like, okay, this new manager is coming in, they might be younger. or just new to the team, you don't want to comply with what it is, like what they saying.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Or if it's that third party conversation of I'm talking to April, let me tell you what Doc did. And then I want you to get on my side and go with the gossip of what Doc did. And you don't either you agree or you don't agree. But if you stay in that conversation, you're helping to facilitate the microaggression to continue versus saying, okay, well, I mean, are we discussing a concern of the team member, or are we that we're gonna go and approach her and say, okay, can we talk to you about something that we have a concern about or that we observe? And hopefully she's open and receptive to it, but she might not be. But if you sit there and you just talk about it, then the next time y'all come in the lunchroom and you talk about it till she walk in and you like, oh wait, we gotta stop talking because she here now.
Coco Licious just walked in.
Coco Licious.
Oh.
But let's talk about how they show up in our personal relationships.
Okay.
The one example I was thinking of after we had our discussion is that whole idea of the kitchen and the bedroom for women.
Okay, please explain.
So
yes, please.
Your man is of the is
traditional.
Of the traditional. That's okay. That's a nice way to say it. Traditional thought. And he says that, he doesn't want you driving. He doesn't want you working. Your whole being revolves around you cooking and cleaning the house and having sex with him. And that's it.
You don't need shoes.
And I said the kitchen in the bedroom because that was on remember the Good Time episode where James kept saying that to Florida, the kitchen in the bedroom, Florida, the kitchen in the bedroom.
Oh, I remember that.
Oh, wow. So he meant your role is only to be in the kitchen,
yes,
in the bedroom. Anything else like finances or the flow of the house or the rules, you don't have a voice in. What?
Does that include shopping? Like going to buy food?
That's probably has to do with the kitchen because you're cooking.
Right.
So and if the man is like, I'm not going shopping because that's not my role. I went working all day.
See, but look how nice he is. He gives her a time to go out.
Massa says she can go out and go shopping and that's it. If that ain't an aggression of some sort.
Yes.
Is it? I mean, see, I don't know. I mean, some people, like, traditionally, that's how they want it to be. I can't say it's wrong. That's how if that's the way family works. I think back in the day,
it becomes a slight, though, when that's not what your wife wants. But you keep trying to reiterate that.
Oh, which my dependent women, huh?
I want to get a part-time job.
Right.
And he said the kitchen in the bedroom, Florida, the kitchen in the bedroom. That it becomes
or I want to go back to school. And what you trying to get better than me?
Right.
Or you trying to, have more education than me? What you trying to pay the bills? And she like, okay, I want to be me. And I always wanted to be recognized for something, or I always wanted to be this professional, but we had children early. So I took on that responsibility. Now that the children are going away to college or, in high school, can I invest in myself to do what it is that I wanted to do?
But no, because now you're trying to be the man. Right.
Allegedly.
I'm about to say that well, allegedly.
I mean, in the microaggression world that you are.
Yeah, because that's something that type of man might say. You trying to be man.
Well, it's tough because you already conditioned your relationship to be a certain way. Right? If you were doing that for years, you said now the kids left, so now they're 18. So you're saying 18 years is one way. Now you want to change things. I can see how that's also different on his side too, because he's also used to something. I'm not saying it's right, but I mean, that's a change that that's tough on both ends, and they would have to discuss how it works for both of them, I would think. Just because she wants to do something, that's about her.
Mm-hmm.
Just because he would want to
But
do something
it's going
would
to
be
enhance. It's going to enhance the psychology within the house, though, too. Oh, you knocked yourself out.
I turned him off.
called him.
You you were saying something, Darrell.
Am I back or no?
Yes, you back.
You're back.
Okay, I'm frozen on my screen.
Oh, okay.
I'm back
Yeah,
now.
we see
No,
you.
I was just saying that in that case, I could it being difficult for people to change because after all that time, it's an adjustment for both, right? That means you're going to have a whole new relationship. I think that's something that has to be talked about for both of them. Even if the man after 18 years wanted to do something different, you would have to talk about it. You can't just do something different because you want to do something different. You still have a relationship that you want to support. I don't want to do something to derail my relationship, chasing what I want about myself. That's selfish. I'm not by myself. I'm with someone else. So we have to take, everyone in regards.
That's when it calls for like really having an authentic conversation with your partner in regards to what the season of the relationships are going to look like or who's making that sacrifice, because it can show up as that small off the cuff assumption that she or he is 100% happy in what it is that they're doing to be self-sufficient for the family, versus when the family composition changes, i.e. children no longer being present or going away and stuff. Now the the capacity of the household changes.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, do you have permission to make that change, or are you going to say, I'm assuming we're going to still do business as usual, I'm going to work and you in the kitchen in the bedroom?
Or maybe he says, now we can travel. If you're going to school, now that's something else in the way of us traveling.
Mm-hmm.
True.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it's funny. I never thought about what you just said. That's a conversation to have in the beginning. Like, we have these kids, what's it going to look like afterwards? Mm-hmm. I may want to pursue this afterwards, or I may want to do something when the kids are not in the home. Mm-hmm. I never really thought about that, having that conversation that early, before. That's almost a conversation very early to say, look, I'm not only, I'll stay in the house for now, but that's not my goal forever.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But I think oftentimes we don't have that conversation early. It usually ripples when the shift is happening, which is like a mindset shift in regards to how business has been run in the home. And then now you want it to look differently. And it's calling for me to step up to the plate in a different way, because what I've gotten accustomed to is about to have a shift. Mm-hmm. Because you want to go do this thing, and then they come mm-hmm. calling Doc. Mm-hmm. Like, Doc, I need an appointment because she's talking about this school stuff, and I'm trying to figure out when mm-hmm. is my meals going to be made.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That I'm used to being on the table at 5:15 for the last 17 years. That's tough.
Right. And so Jada is asking.
Yes, you do, Jada. Yes.
No, you don't.
If you're just gonna make decisions arbitrarily by yourself, then be by yourself. This is a couples. You can't just do things on your own. I don't think.
This is when you go left. Do you need? Okay. It's a difference between permission and communication.
Yes. Yes.
Permission is granted by yourself, that you feel capable and able to do whatever this new thing is. And once you have an idea of how it's going to impact not only you, but the family, then have a conversation with your spouse from what would look different. Maybe have it as an open end, but you already made your decision. You don't have to ask permission. It's communicating.
Are we playing on words? Like, at the end of the day,
nope.
Is it going to work for your relationship or not? At the end of the day, so if you come to me and it's like, look, this is not going to work. You still going to do it? Then guess what? Our relationship is going to may end or have turmoil because we're on two opposite ends of a spectrum. So I don't know how you can just arbitrarily say you're going to do something. You give yourself permission to do something. Cool. Well, do it. But be by yourself, because it's something we got to make together.
The challenge of permission comes if you are reliant on your partner's finances for what it is that you want to do. So if you haven't made the plan for financially how it's going to work, how logistically is going to work, this change or whatever it is that you're doing, so that you could present. Men are usually very solution focused. So if you could present something that's very solution focused, it's easier to have a conversation. But I'm not asking you permission for me cutting my hair, or I'm not asking you permission for me taking maternity leave. I'm not asking permission for me going back to school. What I would like to talk about is, I think that it's a time for me to go back to school, and this is going to be the influence or change within our family. How can we get on the same page?
Yes.
Permission?
Okay.
No.
I don't know. I think we're playing on words. You're going to talk to the person to see if you're going to just arbitrarily do things because you want to do them, then be by yourself. If you want to come together and talk about what you guys are doing, like, hey, listen, I would like to do such and such. How is this going to affect our family? Is it good for our family? Yada, 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 yada. I don't know how you arbitrarily say you're going to do something. I'm going back to school. So again, I think we're playing on words. My thing is, yeah, whatever. Everybody well said.
Thank you, Ru.
And I think we're saying the same thing. I'm saying that.
But we're not.
We're not saying the same thing.
We're not saying the same thing.
It's different when you.
Okay, well, listen. So I say go do what you want to do. Then don't ask. Why ask then? Why tell me about it? If you're
because it's going to impact the home. So
but you say you're going to do it already. You're saying you're going to do it, right?
She doesn't need permission.
I'm just saying permission is not necessary. Permission is you trusting yourself that you're capable and that you could present it to the family household that, okay, this is how this is going. This decision or me elevating myself is going to make me happy, because we've said in previous relationship flow sips and chats when we wasn't H2Oing that it was up to you to make yourself happy, not up to your partner to make you happy. You said what?
I got PTSD because I've had this situation, very similar situation, where, I wanted to pursue school, go back to school, and the resentment that I got was, or not even resentment, but there was like a push and pull, a tug of war of ego and power, because there was, I had a solution. Mary said, men are solution based. I had a solution where, the finances was covered. All I needed basically was his support, but there was pushback. There was, that's what I was trying to say. There was pushback because.
Let April finish.
I was going to talk to Ruth. Sorry. Go ahead.
So the pushback was, I guess he felt that it was intruding on him because he was going to have to take on additional responsibilities, and that's what it sounds like you're saying, Daryl. Like, I'm not agreeing, or I'm not giving you permission because it's going to inconvenience you, because you're not going to have the dinner at the certain time that you want, or whatever your expectations were when you first came into the marriage. It's making a change, but marriages change over time consistently. So you have to adjust to the changes, but you can't.
Like I said, why tell me? Just do what you want to do. There's no point to talk about it. No one needs permission.
It is a point to talk about it, because we can't leave.
If I come in and say I'm gonna do something
on the corner, we can't leave Mariah out on the corner because your schedule.
We're not doing anything.
Enough. Huh?
You're doing it because you're changing your schedule. We're not doing anything. You change your schedule, and now you're saying that since you change your schedule arbitrarily by yourself, then now these things are going to be left undone because you changed your schedule, and you're just going to do it.
No, that's not what's being said. You on the surface. You got to peel back some layers.
Right.
Well, peel the layers for me, please. Open this banana because I'm confused.
He's right.
I'm really confused.
Banana.
I don't know how women work, where they say they're going to tell you what to do, and then we're going to talk about what we're going to do. All right, well, do it. I don't get it. I don't see how it's really selfish for me to say, let's talk about our relationship and what works best for our relationship. Right. I'm selfish. Sorry. Or is it selfish for someone to say, I'm going to do something. I gave myself permission to do it. I'm going to let you know what I'm doing. and this is what I'm doing, and I'm going to do it. I'm pretty sure that sounds selfish to me. I don't know how you, in a relationship, you're not talking about what everything you're doing and seeing how it's affecting the relationship. And
But
if it
that's what
doesn't,
she
just because
said.
we want to do something.
But that's what she said. You talk about how it's going to affect the relationship and what changes we all need to make as a family to let
Wait a
this
minute.
happen.
No, because we always do it for the man who is
I don't
out
make
working.
changes.
We
I don't
constantly
understand.
rearranging the food schedule, the shopping schedule, the sex schedule. All the schedules is rearranged around this patriarchal thought process. But the microaggression is your non-willingness to change the idea or the ideology within your home that's going to create peace and wellness for everybody. If she wants to go back to school, or he, I'm only speaking she because thinking if it was me, but like whoever is the one that wants to do something that's going to change the finances coming into the house or whatever, it requires the other partner to step up. And that's why communication is so important.
Right.
So, and again, I don't know how long you were together before this changed, right? I think that's important. We were together 12 years in one way.
Why would it be important? Because if you were dating and it's just the timing of the opportunity being present. What happened, girl?
He said, "Go ahead and talk," because you cut him off.
Oh, my bad. My bad.
No, stop. Don't say it was just Mary. Everybody started talking. Okay.
Well,
I like that.
I did say
like that.
Now.
Let's leave it like that. I like that.
No,
Hi, everybody. Hello, how's everybody doing? No, I'm just saying I don't understand. That's like if I came home and said, "This is what we're doing right now, and I don't need permission. We're doing this, and this is what you're going to have to do to make the difference for what I want to do." That's cool. Is that cool? Because that's what you're saying. You're saying it's okay to come home and say arbitrarily you want to do something differently, and this is what we're going to do, and this is what you're going, to need to do to pick up the slack because I'm changing what I'm doing. Is that cool?
Yes. It's called communication.
Oh, okay. That's not communication. That's not communication when you tell me what you're doing, and then this is what you need to do to fit what I need you to do, so I'm doing this, and this is what you have to do. That's not communication.
So
you're just barking orders.
If I'm in my career and in order to get more money in my job, in my career, what I'm doing, I need to go do a certification program or an additional degree or something like that. And to do that, it's going to cause me to have to work more or do work and school. So then I'm home less during this 18 months or this 3 years or this 5 years. It's in a sense, it's temporary investment in our future.
Right.
But you
I saw something to that.
But I could be inconvenienced all day long when you say, "Okay, I'm not coming home tonight because I'm going to play pool with the guys." But you don't ask me if I had planned like a sensual night for you, or if it was movie night, or I just need a break from the kids. You don't care.
I don't know what we're talking about with movie night and stuff like that, coming home late. Because I don't think that that's what we're talking about. I'm not saying that's right either, right? I'm not condoning that behavior either, right? So if we're going off the negative and the far end of the negative, we're not talking. I'm talking about a relationship that's pretty good, and I'm not saying a man is doing anything extra. I'm saying that I think that if you want to do something, I think you present it to the person like, "Hey, look, I think this is what I want to do, and I want to do X, Y, and Z, and this is going to take to do it." But I think still, as a couple, you want to make a decision. Is that worth it? Is it worth the time away from the kids? Is it worth the time away from the home? Is it worth the strike that it brings to the home? I think that's what so maybe not permission, but I think that you have to work together to make it happen. I don't think one person should be able to say, "This is what we're doing. These are the changes I need to make what I need to happen." I don't see how that works.
All of that is a microaggression because that's your assumption in regards to the role in which you have assigned your partner to live in, and you're limiting the opportunity of what could happen in the future based on the fact of how you want things to be presented.
I don't know about future because again, like the time you're away, the kids, you think is good, but the kids know that you weren't there, right? If you're going away for a long period of time, so that time that's missed is important. So it would also go on. Do we really need to have this extra money, right? Is this really going to be worth it? Like in the long run, is the time apart going to be worth it? Is the time we're putting the stress on our relationship, if it's adding extra stress or whatever, is that worth it? It's a lot more involved than just
I can't go to school to get a promotion. I got to stay in my role at my job and make what I make and feel diminished and dismissed because you don't want to be inconvenienced in the relationship overall.
I'm saying the best for the relationship, period. If you feel like making yourself better makes a relationship better, then okay. I don't know how you can look at it saying just because you want to do something and you're going to feel better doesn't mean that's what's better for you and and the other people in your relationship, right? It goes both ways. It has to be a conversation, and we have to be honest about what the repercussions of the changes make. You're right. So I should say, you know what? Don't worry about it. Go do what you have to do, and don't worry about how it's going to affect the house. You're right. So, I'm sorry.
No, that's not what you said.
I'm sorry. That's exactly what I said. I said either way, if someone comes and says that they want to do something and it's going to make them feel better and it's better for them, that's cool as an individual, but you're a couple. It's what's better for our relationship, I would think, right? So even if I'm doing something that's not great for our relationship, then I would have to find a way not to do it because I want at the end of the day, I want to be happy at home. I want my home to be happy.
So that something just happens to be improving that person's personal development, professional development, and that's going to make them feel better about themselves. That's going to improve their advancement within their job, which is ultimately going to be, financially. The assumptions that it's going to financially be worth it for the house, for the entire family. But you see it as, go ahead. But
no, I think you have to get there. If I have to go away, say I have to leave for 3 months to go do something, right? That's still time away, right? We don't know what could happen in time. Whatever the case may be, I still think that just because you want to do something, you're saying, I want to do this, and what I want is bigger than the family, and it will benefit us down the road, but right now, it could be a problem. So for me, like, I know I'd rather have my person there, or I wouldn't make a decision to be away from my person, right? That unless, again, if we needed the money, maybe it'd be different, right? But if it's really not a need, I want to be around because I don't know what can happen. Tomorrow's not promised, right? Nothing's promised. So I'm living today. And if it's something that I think that, like, our family's good and it's not the biggest thing, I'm not going to do it. It might work for somebody else. It might be cool for somebody else. I don't see me making a decision arbitrarily because I want to do something. That to me is a problem. Like, I'm going to definitely check in with her to make sure she's cool with it, to make sure whatever, if she has to do, look, you guys, you might have to do these extra things. Are you okay with that? I'm not going to tell you to have to do these extra things because I want to do this to feel better about me.
I mean, and this is kind of off topic, but kind of on topic a little bit. When you and your did you and your daughter's mom ever live together?
Yeah.
Okay. Was there ever a period of time when your daughter was a baby where you said to her, "Hey, watch the baby while I run to the store"?
No.
Do you, April? You see where I'm getting at?
Yes.
Mary, you see where I'm getting at?
Yeah.
I don't know what you're getting at because I didn't do that. I was never a time that I was with my baby 24/7. You had to ask her. We had a fight. She had a fight we had like a fight for custody in the house.
But if she had to go to the store, what did she say?
Bye.
She didn't just walk out the door, right? We
would talk about it. You're not going to go. Like, for breastfeeding, we got to talk about it. She's not going to say, I'm going to the store and now the baby can't eat. What? No, we got to figure out how we're going to do it. You know what I mean? It affects the house. If she just leaves and the baby can't eat. Huh?
Are you going to go to the store or are you going to get the breast milk?
It depends.
Right?
It depends. Most of the time, I think I would like being with the baby anyway, so she might pump and then go wherever she would go. I don't know. But, she can't just leave without, making sure the baby's good. We had to make a decision on what was good for the house. If she was just like, well, I'm leaving right now, the baby's going to die if she can't eat. I can't do that.
So then another way to tie that back in to even the microaggression is that when that does happen and you calling her every 10, 15 minutes that she's out the house, like, Dad, can my breast breathe? Like, can I be out with my friends? And you sit here
baby's
calling me
gonna
because the
die.
baby's
Go
crying.
ahead.
When am I coming home?
Oh
Like,
Lord.
Baby didn't eat in 3 days, but it's okay.
You know
Stay out. I'm confused.
Now, if she
you have to feed the baby,
has breast milk in the freezer, then you can feed the baby.
Listen, then she can go out and do whatever she want to do. She don't got to come back until the breast milk is done.
Wow.
I'm
you might end
confused
up
about
giving
the situation.
over milk because you all nervous.
Now I don't know how. Is that because of a man? I don't know how to feed the baby. What was that?
Oh.
We talking about microaggressions. I was just told that I might overfeed the baby because I don't know how to do it. I don't know why.
You tell me I gotta ask permission.
Hey, everybody listen close. See what just happened.
But in a lot of relationships, it is assumed that the woman needs to ask permission to do things.
Now, again, I get what, and I said, if someone's like, look, you got to go with me to do everything and for money, and that's different. I get that's wrong. No one should have to, well, I need a couple of dollars and can I get allowance? No, that's crazy. Ruth, please, okay? Everybody talks and then the truth, I'm getting the truth. And so I'm saying that, but I'm just saying that I think that anything we do as a couple, we need to discuss. I don't think anyone can come home and say, I'm going to do something. And this is what you're going to have to do to make sure I'm.
It's not happening tomorrow.
But again, I'm not.
So
I just think it's weird for me to tell you that you have to do something because I want to do something. Like, you know what? I'm going to do this, take this internship now. You have to. I don't know what men do all the time, right? So if we're going off of what the negative type stereotypes that we have out here, again, I don't think that
and real assumptions.
I hear you, but is that every relationship? Is that the majority of relationships? Men are controlling women and doing yada yada yada. There are those horror stories, but I don't know if that's every relationship. I don't know if all relationships are like that. For me, like, I'm just not that person. I'm not checking you, and you have to check in with everything. But if there's something that affects us both, that's going to change what's going on in our culture of our home, we're going to discuss it. I would never come home and say, I have an opportunity, I'm going to take it, I'm going to need you to step up and do X, Y, and Z. We're going to talk about it as a couple, and if it makes sense, then we'll do it. I'm not going to negate what she needs or what she has to do or make her have to do something maybe she isn't ready to do or want to do at that time, right? It's a cup. To me, it's both of us, and I think we both have to discuss things. No one has the right to tell someone else what they need or have to do to make everything else work. That's all I'm saying. I don't agree to that. I don't think it's right that I'm going to tell you what you're going to do so I can be happy. Even though it may be a good thing, it may be great, but they're not really on board with it. Okay, we'll find another way. We'll find something else. I'm not going to tell anybody what to do. That's the same thing. You're talking about ask permission, but you're over here telling me to tell somebody what they're going to do so I can fulfill my dream. I just don't agree with that.
that's fair.
Mm-hmm.
Ronnie, is it a lot of stay when Daryl is talking through his big mic? He was the one doing all that breathing hot air talking. Doc, was you trying to connect that whole connection in a different way to help him see it? Like, I don't know if we were successful with that intervention.
There's nothing you can do anything
No.
because I'm not going to force anybody to do anything. I'm not. I don't think it's okay. If you guys think it's okay to tell your partner what they're going to do to make you happy, okay.
And I think
it's not a tell, it's a communication.
Right.
How's the communication when you're doing it? It's not communication if you're
watching TV. This is something that I did research on. I want to, kind of talk about how this opportunity will help me, which also helps us.
So you're saying
okay.
What we're looking at is the terminology permission. Okay, as two individuals with freedoms, no, we don't need each other's permission to do anything. Okay, what we do need to do is communicate about if it's the right choice because it is our choice to do something or not. But we talk about, don't do that, Mary. Damn it.
You were dropping nuggets. I wanted to make sure we saw it.
So what we do is we talk about our choices. And the hope is that, you know, my argument to you that if I do this, which is my choice, it's going to I'm going to be able to convey that this is a great choice for the family. Now, if you disagree, and then I will have to make that decision if I'm going to do it or not, whether you're with or without me. If I feel that it's going to be something that I want to do, something that's going to improve me, improve myself, as well as the family, and you disagree for some other reason because you just don't want to, it's going to inconvenience you, then yes, I don't need your permission. I don't need your approval. I don't need you to be on board because you're selfishly making that decision to not support me. So I really do think it depends on what it is that I'm bringing to you and why you're not supporting me on it. And then if there's, you know, if I say, well, I want to take this job and it requires me to be away from the family for 6 months, okay, that's different. But if I need to go away for a month of training and then I come back home and there's resentment from you, that's a problem. Because that's only temporary. Yes, anything could happen in a month's time. That can't be your argument, though.
I'm confused. I just said that I think we need to discuss things and see what's best for family. Kind of what you're saying. So you said if it's 6 months, you're like, no. If it's a month, we can get through a month. I can't see me saying we're going to not take this opportunity for a month of me having to step up for you, right?
But earlier
so
I see that. I think Mary used an example of like 3 months or something. I said
it depends. Yeah, it depends what it is, right? It depends what it is and what's the outcome of it, right? What's going to be? What are you going to get from this? Whatever it is, I think we just have to discuss it as a couple, and then see if it's something that's going to work. Because no matter what you do, if you do something about you and it comes back and we have resentment, our relationship is going to start faulty.
Yeah, but
faulty anyway, right? Oh wow! High voice for what?
I'm sorry.
See that? I don't know what this is. I don't know.
All right. I'm sorry. Here. Go ahead. I'm gonna take it down. I'm gonna bring it down. Go ahead.
No, I'm saying I just think that again. I think we're kind of. I don't know. I think we're. All I'm saying is that I just want to talk to my partner about whatever we do, whatever it is. I don't care what it is. Like even if I came home, and I'm like, yo, I'm gonna go play basketball tonight. Is that cool? Like, what's going on? I'm going to make sure she's aware and involved in everything I do. Again, it's not that maybe we need everything very well said, very well spoken.
Is that cool, or do you say I'm going to go play basketball?
Not probably say is that cool because I want to make sure there's nothing else going on. I want to make sure that maybe if I didn't forget something, because I'm a forgetful person, I'm gonna play basketball. Is that cool? Hey, we have that thing. Oh, my bad. Guess I'm not playing basketball. Got to do that, right? So I'm a firm believer in communicating everything and talking about everything, right? And seeing how it works for both of us, and it can't be one-sided. No, you weren't. I'm sorry. What I heard was I said I don't need permission. No, I'm gonna tell you what I heard. I don't need permission. I'm gonna tell you what I'm going to do, and then I'm gonna tell. No, not you. And I'm gonna tell you what you need to do, and I'm gonna tell the family what the family needs to do to make sure that what I want make me feel better about this new job that I want. That you guys have to suck it up until I get it. That's what I have a problem with.
That's what you heard.
Just because. That's not what you said? Nobody said that? Nobody said that? No. We know it's a replay. We can just run it back. So
right. We'll do that.
Exactly what was said. This was exactly what was said. And it was said to the point where I don't need permission. I'm going to do what I want to do. I'm going to let you know what I'm doing. That's what was said. I'm going to let you know.
So we're going to talk about how it's going to work.
Yeah,
how
again, so you're saying.
It's going to look like.
So you're telling me this is what you're going to do. Like, I'm going to tell you how it's going to work. This is how it's going to work, and this is what it's going to be.
No, we're going to tell you how it can work.
how it
that's
can
different.
work.
See that word right there, Ken? That's different.
Resources that we could probably invite in. Like if we have a budget for a maid to come in, because I ain't gonna be able to do this laundry. If we need to order chef meals made, or like it's accommodations that we would discuss, or that I could prepare on Saturday, Sunday.
Gotcha.
But if I have finals, I might need you to do that.
Is there any way, say that it didn't, like, you know what, it just doesn't work. I can't see that work. And it sounds good on paper. I don't see it working. This might be something to do. Is it like, well, I'm still doing it anyway? Or is it like, well, all right, I can't.
Like, the why? Why do you
possibility
that it can't work?
Right.
Because things don't work sometimes. I'm saying, I don't know. This is a fictional conversation. I'm saying, but if there was a reason, like I said, if I present, like, you know.
Then so there's more discussion.
I mean, we're just saying, so in the sense that if there is a reason why I can't, you know, they're like, look, hey, this, you know, we have this, and whatever the case may be. If there are valid reasons, could you say, all right, you know what, you're right, this is not really a good move right now? Or is it like, well, this will make me feel better, and the position will be great, and it'll be great for the family down the road?
I think it depends on the quote unquote valid reasons.
Yes.
Because if I'm presenting you with things that'll be in place where I can't anymore, and you just keep shooting everything down,
right?
Is that really valid? Because I'm bringing in solutions. I'm telling you, I'm saying how these things can still be taken care of when I'm not here.
You're right. Just do it. You win. That's what it gets to. You're right. Just do it.
But then, are you in agreement with the things that the solutions that's being put in place? Because it might be a new line item.
Again, I'm just saying, I don't, if there's, again, everybody's valid. They can validate your reason. So if you want something going to for it and you're not going to see any fault in it. But if other person's saying, look, these are some faults, you may not see the fault in it. You may not agree, or whatever the case may be. So then what happens is, two things can happen, right? You can do it on your own and it could work out and we're good. But if it doesn't work the way because of whatever happens, now you have even more resentment because I told you it wouldn't work, right? I told you this wouldn't go through. I'm not talking about on the bad faith of people making it fail and trying. I'm talking about saying it just doesn't work. Now you have a whole nother issue because, like I said, look, this was going to work going into it because X, Y, and Z. You didn't hear me because you were gung ho about what you were going to do. Now we're here. So I'm just saying, I understand. I understand what you guys are saying. I'm just saying we're basically going, and with anything, we're going to make the best decision for our relationship. I just had a problem with what I thought I heard that was said, that, you know, you're going to come with a plan. You're going to come with a plan. You're going to tell me what it is. I have it all worked out, and this I need you to do, and the kids are going to do this, and we're going to do this because I'm going to be great soon. When I come back, we're going to be great. I just have a problem. But I think if a man.
But that's how you present something, because you do want to come into it with a plan and tell your partner what your idea of how this could look different. So you're not just walking in there saying, I want to go to school. I don't know what else going to happen after I do that, but I'm going to school.
But if you have a depth plan, it's tough. Because it sounds like it's a death plan, okay? So with a death plan, it's like, well, what you mean that can't work? I'm telling you, I'm not. So it depends really if we're really having a conversation where you're really like, look, I looked this up, I'm really excited about it. I have this information, I put this plan together, this is my proposal. I know we can do this, this, and this, and I can. Well, what about this? And we can talk about it, and we work it out, fine. But if it's like certain things, I'm like, look, I can't see that. I don't know. I don't think you can be really too mad. And again, really upset with me if I don't really see how something works. If I really don't see it, I'm genuinely like, I don't see how that could work, right? Now, you can go and do it because you want to do it, cool. But then I'm not saying don't do it because I don't want you to do it either, because that's tough too, right? So it's that catch-22. Hopefully it washes out when, you know, it happens and everything works out. But if it doesn't work out or something does happen, now you have even more problems because I already said I didn't think it could work. You know, so I'm just saying, just have a conversation where it's open, not one of these I'm coming in with all the answers and you're supposed to disagree.
So
that's my thing.
I'm leaving Jada's comment up there because it's an example of how in a couple's relationship a microaggression can actually occur. Because when you described your whole sassiness, you weren't in your masculine demeanor. You had to add all of this sassiness to it as if to further dismiss and demean what your partner will be bringing to you. That, again, it's a side off the cuff type reaction, but the internalization of how someone receives your repeating the interpretation can come across.
So interesting how women just, because women tonight started the aggressions, the microaggressions, and then
because you was late.
Was
no, was
because I don't know. No, because I don't know how to feed my baby. Because and then the other woman was raising her voice at me for having just making comments. So it's weird how they point out what they want to point out. Jada, if you're watching, let's be consistent and point it all out. Not be subjective or just pick out what you want to pick out, Miss Jada.
Doc, where's the baby's bottle?
You didn't defend me.
Where's the baby's bottle, Doc?
See, that's a microaggression. She didn't defend the man because he can handle it. It's okay. But he can't be have any microaggressions himself.
Darrell.
I'm just saying.
We thought we was talking to Daryl, but it's Darrell.
I'm just pointing out facts here. And Doc is just being
we
very.
We started the day off so
Doc,
nice with hugs and affection, and then
yes,
how we gonna end it out.
and Doc is being very encouraging. She's giving me nonverbal cues to say she's listening. I see her like, She's just very supportive. Thank you, Doc. Thank you. I want to say thank you for tonight.
No,
I think Doc got
love.
ears. She can't say what she really want to say. That's what I think. That's what I think.
But it's very interesting that she pointed out because I don't realize I did that. Like now I'm looking back, I'm like, oh yeah. See, what was that? What was that, Mary?
I'm just looking at you with.
What was the guys for?
With love.
Oh, that's a lot of love. That was a lot of love.
Oh God, we started the day off with love. I don't know how we ended it though. Oh my goodness.
I have a question.
Please,
do we always know people's biases when we enter relationships with them?
Absolutely not.
You don't. You don't. It's very interesting. You really don't. And people will say things sometimes and really like what? Like we'll catch you off guard. Definitely definitely dating other ethnicities. I see it a lot. Even some of the Hispanic women I date will say crazy stuff sometimes, and it's like, whoa.
They'll what?
They'll do what sometimes?
They'll say some crazy things that they think are normal. They have the same biases that if you're in this colonized society, you're raised in biases, right? It's just almost
That's what I'm saying.
a learned innate. So they'll say things that sometimes are just like just crazy, Do
they use the N-word, Daryl, to you?
With the A or H?
So with me, I'm so pro-black. A lot of people know that about me. They usually don't.
Okay.
No, unless they get mad at me. I
can see that happening often.
If they're mad, it does come out, But usually people know not to, because I'm just not like I don't, especially from other, races. You're not going to do that with me without being checked immediately. But you see that lady recently was at called the guy a BA, a bitch.
Oh, BAN.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I was like, wow. But I knew she had to be around black people because it just rolled off her tongue. Like, her kids are, my understanding, mixed. Mm-hmm. So it's very interesting. She thought she could use that word.
Mm-hmm.
It rolled off her tongue. Yeah, it rolled off her tongue. She was at one of the barbecues.
Oh, that must have been a different one. I was thinking about the video with the woman in the Starbucks.
Yeah, that's her.
Oh, that's her.
That's her.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Wait, I'll say, what happened at the Starbucks?
She called. I don't know why he wouldn't serve her. When it started, he already was not serving her for whatever reason, and she said, "No, you're not serving me because you're a B-A word, hard ER, hard ER, not the A, hard ER.
Not the A or the
But she
H.
said it. But she said it. I mean, it rolled off her tongue like
she said a lot.
She was fluent. She was fluent
Right.
in her usage. Fluent.
Very emphasized.
Yeah, and then but there were some more comments she made talking about sleeping with black men and a whole bunch of stuff. They have her a couple different times saying different things, talking about her mixed kids. They're going to take her mixed kids or something like that.
Okay.
But anyway, no one's really going to say it to me.
Okay.
Not really. I haven't experienced, like I said, unless they're upset with me.
You probably make people upset with you often.
So when
you know what? It's something about telling the truth.
Your truth.
You're right. His truth.
Your truth. Your perception of truth.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you blacked your own self out.
So this follow-up question to that is, are there certain things that you could hear or see from a person that you're dating, maybe newly dating, that'll make you just cut it off? Like, is the N-word, like if you're dating a person of another race, is the N-word the deal breaker? If they're not talking about you.
I haven't. I think it's
right. But if they're not,
it's usually what happened.
You know how fluid it is that they use the word, and so just because they're not talking about you now, when the situation arises, they're gonna fluidly show you how they're gonna use it towards you as well. Daryl, why we can't see you?
For me, it was over time. Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you, but we can't see you.
I don't know. My thing is blacked out here too. Okay, cool. I'll sign back out in a minute. But for me, it was usually over time. No. Someone called me.
Yeah, I bet they did. Yep. You about to pay some tolls.
It's usually because usually what happens is into the relationship, things will start coming out that I'll see. Or, I remember I was dating this girl. I tried it, and
he was dating a what?
She had a black daughter.
You heard of
April. I remember Christmas, and it was a white ornament that was made in the daughter's image, and I was like, why is that white? They're like, oh well, the team when they gave them out, it was supposed to be black, but they didn't have any more, so they just gave her the white one. And I let her keep it because she was like, oh, it looks just like me.
Oh,
and
wow.
That was a big, like for me, I was like, yo, this is crazy. Like, why would you allow her to do that? Like, you allow her to identify with this thing that's white, and she's not white. And you kept this, like, as a parent, I would have gave it back. You would have had to get me one to look like my daughter. And after that happened, I was kind of done. You didn't promote. And I think she just didn't know, but at this day and age, ignorance is something I can't accept. There's too many different ways to learn and find things out. So all you have to take a quick Google and you can learn certain things. And I didn't think her connection, especially raising a black child that she kind of adopted, I don't think you took the time out to invest in her. So I was like, I'm good.
Yeah. Okay. What about you, April?
What was the question?
Are there microaggressions that you have seen in your dating life? Or I think that was the first question. Then the follow-up, or are there behaviors or that would be like the deal breaker where you say, I can't see you anymore?
Well, not racially, because
Okay.
I've only dated my folks.
But sometimes our folks ain't our folks.
I was gonna say, yeah.
Well, that is true. Ooh, that's a I gotta go digging.
Okay.
Um,
An example I'm thinking of while you're thinking is like Mary said, because all our people ain't on the same page either.
true.
Someone who denies that racial stuff is happening. It's like, oh, you're overreacting. That's not what they meant.
No, I can't say that. Either.
That bugs me.
Yeah, like why would you take it that way?
Yeah.
I want to say maybe years ago, I may have experienced like the maybe a little bit of gender bias. I can't think of anything specific, but that may have been one particular person comes to mind, where, you know, or even classism, I guess, meaning they were of a different socioeconomical status. And because of where I grew up, kind of expected me to act a certain way, and kind of thought that I would or continue. And I don't know.
That's a good example.
Yeah.
Or I get the ones where they hold their pocketbook like I'm in an elevator. Like that really happens. Or they move to the side or don't take the elevator because I'm on, things of that nature. You know, those things really happen. It was one, actually in our office, we had one of the supervisors, she would jump every time she saw me.
Wow.
Like if we would come around the corner and and I had I was like, yo, I work here. Like, stop jumping. And then I was thinking maybe it's me. But then another gentleman, melanated man, he was like, he would carry Tic Tacs because when he would go in her office, every time she would jump. So he said he would shake them before he went in her office, so she would kind of be aware that it's coming, so she would stop jumping. Because it makes you feel weird that they're jumping. I said, yo, stop jumping. Like, you're making me feel like I'm an animal. You feel me? Like I'm gonna do something to you. Nobody wants you. You know, but she was very like it really upset me because I could only imagine what you're thinking to make you have that response. Like you're having a physical response to something when you see me and I'm in the building. We need a badge to get back here. Nobody's just walking around. So you're just saying I'm one of those that you think that you see on the news or in those rap videos, murderers, gangster kills type person. And it really upset me. It did. It definitely did. I don't know.
What about you, Mary?
So it was two things that I thought about. One, you speak very well for a Black girl.
Ooh.
Like, what does that mean? Then the other one, that my name is Caucasian, like I'm a Catholic white girl.
I mean, do you respond to that when they say that, or you just kind of like let it go?
If it was in probably the last 5 years, I probably would I would respond, but I've been hearing it forever.
Gotcha.
And then like my childhood name, when say I'm on the phone, so say I'm on the phone with you, Daryl, and we call April, and you be like, oh, I'm hanging out with my friend Mary Beth. The first thing that April's gonna ask, why are you hanging out with this white girl?
I wouldn't
because
say.
I mean, I'm not saying that you would say, I'm just saying that was always the
April.
example.
Yes,
so
would.
Then my response would immediately be when the person, so say Daryl, I said I was on the phone with Daryl. Daryl pauses. I said, you could let them know that yes, I am Black, because I already knew that was the reason for the pause, because it always occurred when people referred to me using the name Mary Beth.
Well, it was weird when I guess when I moved from the city, the more rural area for a while. Then I went back. You know, you pick up some mannerisms from the people you're around, right? You learn that you speak. You know, your lexicon will include the words they speak and things of that nature. Your mannerisms change because it's what you're around. So when you go back, like I was a white boy, like you're a white boy now.
Oh yeah.
You know, you white. So it's so interesting to get it when I went back because you're different. You know what I mean? You talk different now. You're not the same no more. You're not down no more. You know what I mean?
Right.
You're not the same anymore. That was very interesting to see how I was looked upon as I went back. You know, when I was able to start going back to the city with my friends there.
I had a very similar experience, Darrell, and that's when I learned about code switching.
Right.
Oh yeah, code switching is real.
Right.
It's definitely real, and you have to. It's weird because one guy I know, real smart guy, but he just could not turn it off, and he would go to our meetings. He's like, yo, I'm saying, look, you know what we're gonna do is in whoop whoop pop 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 pop, and I'm like, yo, he is killing them, and they were turned off because of how he spoke, so they heard nothing. And I'm like, wow, he was dropping dimes. I thought he was such an intelligent. Like I kind of looked up to this dude because he really had a grasp. You know, I'm like, wow, this dude is powerful, and they're looking at him like, okay, all right, and he never moved up because of it. You know, and it's like he just could not. That's who he was. You know what I mean? That's who he was. And I'm telling you, he's great at what he does. And he works with the kids. He works in the kids in residential. But I was like, yo, you do so much more if you could move up. But he just couldn't. They wouldn't allow him. Not that he couldn't. I'm sorry. They wouldn't allow him. He wouldn't do the mold that they wanted for him to be. To be
exactly. Yeah. Exactly. I have a friend that works really well with the kids in the schools and would come to work in the uniform in the beginning, but then connecting with the kids would wear like the khaki pants and the Timberlands or whatever and a button-up shirt. But it was like they said, well, can you lose the Timberlands because we really want to promote you because you do really well in your role, but we want to promote you. And that person stood their ground and was like, no, this is the way that I can help reach the children and educate the children. So apparently in this institution, this is the role that I will maintain. But it's really crazy.
It is. They don't want to understand that sometimes being authentic is valuable, and kids see that. No, we can't have this cotton candy, this Mayberry approach. It just it won't work. But sometimes I feel like they don't want it to work.
Well, it causes them to be more aware and sensitive in a way that they don't want to assimilate to. They want us to have permission to be in their space.
But do they really want us in their space? I know it's another whole question, but I think that a lot of times, because even what I do, I feel like my hands are tied because they don't want you to fix these families. These families are
they're making money.
This is the pipeline to what they need. The pipeline to poverty, pipeline to jails, pipeline to us killing ourselves. So if we really educate ourselves and we really wake up, they're losing a major part of the control we have over us. So I think they stifle us in a lot of ways and not allow us to do things to really get us out of the situations that we're in. And that's why we need more things ourselves so that we can, empower ourselves, not have to check with anyone else.
Right. I know when I worked in Jersey, you want a black screen again. When I worked in Jersey, I knew that it was time for me to transition when going to supervision and talking about interventions that was going to correct the behaviors of the sex offenders that I was working with. And the psychologist said to me, why are you doing all of this work? These are the throwaway kids. Just come in here and collect the check and just follow the curriculum. And I said, I'm sorry, excuse me. I'm sorry. I went to school to help people. Did you say? He said, yeah, these are, the throwaway kids. They from North Jersey, Trenton, they're here in Camden because of a bad way, and we just got to keep them that way. I was like, yeah, my notes not gonna reflect the notes that you want them to reflect. Like, it's not gonna work for me. It's not gonna work for me.
Wow. To say something like that to you, expecting you to co-sign.
Of course.
That's
because I'm getting paid so well, I'm supposed to just bow down and say, yeah, you're right. What was I thinking? What was I thinking?
Wow.
Yeah. I was like, okay, yep, I need my exit plan because this is not the space. Yeah, this is not the space for me to excel. And actually, when transition was made, it was an uproar, not only for the people on my caseload, but for both units, like both floors. So I had an influence and impact with 30 kids. So when it was like, oh, Miss Mary or Miss May not in the building no more, it was a problem. The kids created and organized the meeting on their own so that they could process it. Now, when I was there, I'd be like, okay, y'all the community, y'all could lead your own meetings and do this, that, and the third. But it wasn't until, the evidence of that came when when I had departed the building.
Dang.
Right.
That's crazy.
So Vivian is sharing, it was a time when I was side-eyed at because I said I was from South Philly. Yeah, I can see that.
What, is there something with South Philly? Like,
and Jada saying, unfortunately, so many conform. Yeah, the other clinicians was asking me, why did I have a problem with not conforming? And I was like, yeah, no, I'm not lying on documentation because I know what that is. That's Medicaid fraud. People get locked up for that. So the South Philly thing, South Philly is like a country in and of itself in Philadelphia. Like, and I mean that in a positive way, but it's like you have to understand that it's certain. He ain't even listening. He on the phone talking to some Slim Jim. Yes, I saw you.
I'm talking to a friend, not a female.
No, okay. They all friends. I was trying to answer your question though when you were on a phone call.
Oh, right. I'm listening. I'm sorry.
Did you tell them they was on hold?
Yeah.
So like South Philly, I was saying, is like a country in and of itself, or like they have different nuances and things that's different than the rest of Philadelphia. And so because of that, and Miss April, I don't know if you want to, say more about it. Because at the end of the day, people will say, well, she's only been here for a million years.
I concur. And I think, everybody has their own mannerism or behaviors that they expect, depends on
what part of the
city you're from, so I can definitely relate, as I said earlier, the guy that I was seeing, because where I came from, which was the projects, he expected me to speak or act in a certain manner, and the fact that I did not, that kind of it didn't cause conflict or anything like that, but he just expected me to act like I was from the projects and just assumed that every time that we would go out that I would act like someone from the projects. And I don't know what.
And what does that mean?
A microaggression.
That's my question. What does that mean? Act like someone from the project? That would confuse me in itself.
Well, so people from the projects are soon to.
Oh, what? Don't do it.
She tried to say it. You cut her off.
Manners, ghetto, look and speak a certain way, like you're uneducated, bad grammar, dirty. There's a lot of assumptions that are made about people that come from bad neighborhoods like the projects, and wanting to fight all the time, that sort of stuff. But
so that was kind of my question. Like, what was he saying? Because most people aren't like that in these areas, right? We have some that we see that we talk about, the stereotypical, but we kind of sometimes they label the majority like the minority, the fringe of the people that are out there.
People say bad things happen in Philadelphia too, and
right.
Well, 10 people just got shot tonight.
Oh my!
I was about to say
that's why I blocked it out.
I'm going by
news. I'm like, what the heck is happening?
I was about to say a lot of bad things do happen in Philly, but is it certain areas in Philly that these shootings are happening at?
A lot for some reason, but they just 7, 8.
Where's Frankfurt at?
Near Kensington.
Yeah, 7 people got shot on Delaware Avenue in Northern Liberty.
Off of 95.
Northern Liberty. Now that's getting so. Now Northern Liberty.
Northern Liberties is North Philly.
I know.
That's supposed to be better, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, now it is because they didn't push all the people out.
Right.
But she said they got some shootings over there.
7 people just got shot out in.
Oh well, it ain't that.
On Delaware Ave.
Well, that's where the casinos are.
It depends on where Delaware Ave is.
The casinos. It's right where the casinos are.
Okay.
Wow.
And they got that Top Golf Social Club.
Right.
That it seems
that's
like
over there.
Dave and Buster's
back in the day where Gotham was at.
Dave and Buster's is down there. Yeah.
So I can see people meeting down there.
See, I've been here for a minute. I've been here.
It's crazy that people are killing people like this. I don't know. There are no some people just don't care.
See,
they don't care. Because
my
question is,
surge.
I shoot 7 people.
Coming. The numbers are.
I know, but they need to shut it all down because people don't know how to act.
They will still go outside.
My thing is always, if I shoot 7 people, right? Do I go to breakfast after that? Like, what do I do after that?
Yeah.
Because your mental status, you can't be okay. Well, I guess you can. I'm just thinking for me, to shoot people, and then what do you do after that? Do you just, you go out and do the rest of your night? Like, what? That's just crazy. That's just crazy. And it's scary. That's what's scary.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know where it can happen at these days. It can happen anywhere you're at.
Yep.
Going to the mall, going to a game, going to a massage place, a sex place, have happy ending and get shot. Like, you got to reevaluate. That's what you said the guy did earlier, right?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, so I mean, you there's no place safe anymore. Like certain places you thought were kind of off limits, but they don't know. People are shooting up everywhere for any reasons. Like,
and then some people get to go to Burger King and order a number 2 meal,
and that's also crazy. I
didn't get that one. Say that again.
I said, and then some people after they shoot up places, they get to go to Burger King and have a number 2.
Like it's,
and even if they don't go to Burger King, they're just apprehended.
They just
with
had
no
a
problems.
bad day.
Yeah, but they're still apprehended.
They get to live.
Yes, they're apprehended so peacefully. It's the most peaceful apprehension you can ever see. But I'm selling cigarettes and I'm choked to death. It doesn't make sense to me. I get how it makes sense to them, right?
But it's also another layer to a bias and a microaggression as well. And I know we usually don't shout out situations that ain't sponsoring us, but the last new episode of Chicago PD, it really provided like a insight from the other's perspective, because what happened at the I don't want to give it away because I really would want people to watch it, but give it
away so we can understand.
But what happens is that we get to see that it's really a lot of just fear that creates this persona and this bias in regards to how the stories and how brown bodies are taken out of here. Because when you look at the video, the officer says, "You changed the video." No one changed the video. This is how it actually happened, because the video came from your body cam. But because of the perception of fear, You said no, he moved for his hands. He didn't move his hands at all.
So I believe it's fear, but I also believe it's also you're not going to be held accountable. You've been shown for years that you're not held accountable. So I think if like I said, if I knew something was going to happen to me, I don't care what it was, self-preservation would make me think twice about doing something. But there is no accountability. So I know if I do it, I'm probably going to be okay. Right? So I can just err on the side of, I just did it because, first of all, I don't respect this black life because I don't understand it, right? I'm looking at something that I was taught was nothing all my life, right? Let's be honest about it. We've been living here in this colonized world. We're not viewed as much. So when you see something, you don't view it as a person, right? You view it as this object that is going to hurt you first, that's going to kill you, that's this big, big monster that's going to do something to you. And you kind of know in your head that if you kill this animal, that nothing's really going to happen to you. So that's what you see time and time again. You see officers walk time and time again. So I don't think that if I know I can do something to get away with it, I'm not really going to think too much about it. Because you see other ones. I was watching a video the other day where the white guy had a gun. He's in a car and he's like, please, I don't want to do this. Please. He's begging God to put the gun down. He was doing anything he could not to do anything to this man, right? And it's like, I see other videos where, like you said, the person doesn't have anything and they're getting shot. Maybe they view it a certain way, maybe they see it a certain way, but whatever, they're all doing the same thing. And it has to be something, unless they have a big meeting I don't know about, that allowing them all to have the same thought process. So no matter where you're at, what it seems like the same things go down. But I do see some change, because the video that I showed with April when she was getting upset with me because she couldn't tell the sarcasm. An officer.
I mean, the way you wrote it, it didn't seem like you was being sarcastic. It seemed like you were saying, whatever the comment you wrote up at the top, belligerent.
Yeah.
And okay. All right. I get it. I get it. I'll just say, okay. I learned. You guys have whipped me in condition. You whipped me into shape. Okay.
We ain't with you. It ain't no enslavement happening here.
You guys, it is. You guys want to come home and do something else? Okay. In the green room, you're like, we're going to talk about this next week. Okay.
But then you randomly send text messages about other suggestions, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to respond to the question. You ain't prefaced it to say, oh no, that was a suggestion for another conversation. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, I thought I had the answer now.
Listen, okay, I'm here. Whatever you guys want, I understand. It's a woman's world. I'm just here. I get it. But anyway, I like how that other cop did step up and was able to teach. Made it a teachable moment. So we do.
Wait, what'd you like? What'd you like?
The other cop who came in and was able to teach.
Oh.
He made it a teachable moment.
Okay.
Did he teach?
I don't know what you're talking about, so I'm just saying okay.
Oh, April, did he teach? Did the other cop come in and
I guess, yeah, you can say that.
Oh, you talking about in the video. All right.
Yes.
I'm with
yeah.
You.
Yeah, I think he did. And he did it. But I think, the way he approached it was in a way not saying you're wrong, not trying to, he kind of let him work through it himself, I believe. He's asking, well, what are we doing? Why are we doing this? And I think that's how it happens, because sometimes you come at a person too hard and you make them feel a certain way, they get defensive.
I still was
and
annoyed.
They can't hear anything. I was too. The first officer was totally bananas.
And even though he was being polite about it, he still was wrong. He wasn't
polite. He was very condescending. He wasn't polite. Because his intentions were like, for a criminal. Like, hey, bro, I'm just going to put these handcuffs on for our safety so you don't run. Why would I run? I'm in front of my house. You have my ID. My dad's there. So everything he's saying, he may have been saying, but it's really condescending. And it doesn't make sense. Right?
All right.
Like, that's what other cops said. Why you have him in the car? It doesn't even make sense. You're in front of his house, right? His dad's right there. If he ran, you come back and get him. It's not a major crime. Come on, man. Like I said, that cop to me, even though he was kind of trying to be polite, his ignorance still came through heavy to me. And I know for me, I can't deal with that. Mm-hmm. I know they would have beat me up because I just can't deal with it. You're not going to do that to me or speak that way. I have issues. I'm going to say something about it. But it's a bank on the corner of my house, at the corner of my street, so 2 blocks up. And my sister was here and she did something and she left and she slammed the door. She went out, so I had called her like, "Hey, come back here," So she came back. We talked about it. Then she left. Maybe 2 minutes later, her phone called me and I can hear her talking and people talking. I wasn't sure what was going on. And I don't know what made me run outside. I ran outside and like the whole Cherry Hill police station was here. Like 18 cars. It was crazy. And I didn't know what was going on. I see my sister in her car. I'm just trying to get to her because I see she's uncomfortable. She's crying. And as I go to try to approach her to see what's going on, a cop he was about like 5'4", put his hand on my chest and told me to sit on the ground.
Wow.
Mm-mm-mm.
It's like, what? Who the F are you talking to? On my property? Like, either you touch me again, you're going to lose that hand. Right? He's like, "Sit down." And I'm like, "No." And so we kind of get into it. And it was crazy that another cop came over who I thanked later because he was like, "Listen, sir." And he explained what happened. The bank got robbed on the corner. They thought my sister did it. Yada, 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 yada. So, and it was crazy because when she turned around in the bank, the people were coming out. It was 2 girls, and it was 2 girls in her car. So this is what happened when she turned around. The people that ran out, they thought they got in the truck. So they said it was the gold truck, and they came and got it. But so when other cop, I took him after a while. Come like, look, he was able to calm me down because I'm just trying to get to my sister. And I thank you for doing what you're supposed to do. Like, you really did calm the situation down as this fool was trying to escalate it. I don't know what he was doing. And he was about to get what he was looking for. Now, I would have lost in the long run because they're police. But, and then the next day, the captain and the lead detective came out and they said that they were going to discipline the officer and all this type of stuff for the way he acted. But it was really interesting, like, because he was just talking to me like I was trash. No, sit down. Sit right there. I was like, I couldn't believe it, and the way I'm set up, I just can't, I can't be talked to like that. So I got issues. I'm trying to work through them.
You're trying to work through them. So tonight's discussion flow was to talk about, variety of microaggressions in relationships, both personal, how we experience them, social, and in the workplace. And like we gave the definition is that it's usually like an off the cuff type comment that reflects assumptions or things about people, based on how they identify, or it could appear like it's a actual compliment, and it's not a compliment. It's actually some form of a intentional or intentional expression that has representation of bias towards somebody. So and then like the refusing to really identify somebody by their name and taking the patience and the time to really learn what their name actually is. So do we need to do a closing statements, or have we done that already?
Well, I think we kind of done close statement. We also showed some microaggressions for the audience. Hence the I don't know how to feed my baby the bottle.
The point I was trying to make is that sometimes people in that position will keep calling the woman while she's out, like interrupting what she's doing. Like, when you come home and get this baby, it's our baby.
Mm-hmm.
After she had to ask if she could go to the store.
Asking
some people,
if she could go to the store.
Some people can't just say, I did. It was a microaggression. They can't just admit it.
I can say that.
Never mind.
I said I could say that. All right, party people, those especially, who catch us on the replay, who watch it with us live. as we do each and every Friday, we appreciate your contribution to the dialogue, and look forward to Fridays. I mean, we rocked it out with H2O, and then Miss Payne up there with her special clear glass, you know, being what it is. So
I'm all parched right now.
right, like
I'm so thirsty right now. I am so thirsty.
Okay, I'm not gonna go there because that's gonna take us.
I was gonna say, we know you thirsty.
We know you.
Well, come quench my thirst, April.
No, I can't do that.
Oh man,
I won't.
So as you saw, if you were, looking at the scroll on the bottom, if you have any comments or conversations that you want us to host, let us know. As well as you could possibly be on the panel for that opportunity of sharing that conversation. So we always welcome. The door is always open, and we want you to know that. So we appreciate you, and we look forward to seeing you next Friday. So until then, peace.
Have a good one, everybody.
good night. Be safe out there, guys.
Be safe. Yeah. One more again.
Thank you.
It is toys.
Yes, toys. He said he don't play with.